It took a week in Vax's apartment in Old York for Vax to adjust to the change. She wanted to trust the Sentinel, but it wasn't so easy. The Sentinel didn't know how to explain what happened on Mars. He was still trying to wrap his head around what happened to him in the past year or so. Things were mostly back to normal after the time they had spent together. The new face did still startle the Sentinel when he looked in the mirror. Nevertheless, he decided to keep the suit. It was nice. Vax left her room and sat down on her couch, next to the Sentinel. "I think I'm ready." "For what?" The Sentinel laughed. "To stop staring at me like I shouldn't be here?" "For another trip somewhere." She sat up straight. "I want to see what this new you is capable of." "This isn't some weird way to prove I'm me, right?" "No."
"She's lying,"
the Box chimed in. "Box?" She laughed. "Whose side are you on?" "I forgot you could talk. You haven't said much since I escaped. Did they tamper with your programming?" the Sentinel asked.
"My programming states that I should speak only when spoken to, or when relaying notifications,"
the Box responded with a passive glow. "But no one said anything to you. Is there a notification?"
"A signal is pinging from your lab, relative to the time you last left it. You are absent while another entity is present."
"What?" The Sentinel stared at his floating box.
"There is an unidentified entity inside your lab,"
the Box said. The Sentinel sighed. "Do you want to check it out? I can leave you here." "I'll come with. You might need me." "Right." They flashed away, appearing in the Sentinel's lab. Upon arriving, the Sentinel froze. "Where are we?" he asked. "I thought we were supposed to be at my lab." As he looked around, a sinking fear developed in his stomach. Smoke and destruction surrounded him. Nothing familiar. "This can't be your lab," Vax said. "It is," a familiar voice spoke up. The Sentinel turned to the Paradox Master, leaning on a wall. "Excuse me?" The Sentinel fumed. "Sentinel, you've changed since we last met." The Sentinel ran up and punched the Paradox Master in the face. "More so than you might like." "Still strong. Not nearly enough." The Sentinel punched him again. "I want answers. Now." "You won't like what you hear." "Tell me!" The Sentinel was about to punch him again when he answered. "Rogar." The Sentinel stepped back. He looked down at the ground, then to Vax, then back at the Paradox Master. "I killed him." "Is that what you told yourself?" "Careful, Sentinel," a voice said behind him and Vax. He turned around to see the Paradox Master leaning on a wall, running a hand through his tousled brown hair. "Oh God, there's two of them," Vax said. "Watch out!" The Paradox Master near Vax ignited his hands with plasma. The Sentinel turned to see that the other Paradox Master had vanished. He looked down to see a snake slithering to the wall. Once it reached the wall, its form began to shift into a silhouette of its true self. Rogar! Rogar floated menacingly over them. The Sentinel fell to the ground, hands on his temples and eyes tight. There was a sharp pain in his head as a piercing shriek echoed through his mind, repeating 3 words.
"I did too."
The Sentinel blacked out. As soon as the Sentinel opened his eyes again, he sat up. He tried to stand, only to find that he'd been chained down. He looked around. Vax lay unconscious to his left, and to his right lay the Paradox Master. He looked ahead of him, and shrouded under a dark shadow sat Rogar. Curled up, the serpent waited patiently for the Sentinel to regain consciousness. Terrors flanked the Gar, proud in their hypnotic work as the Sentinel awoke. "I know why you took me," the Sentinel let out shakily. "But why them?"
"You blew up my planet. You've made this personal."
"I have?"
"I had to take you, but them... It's for my planet. Revenge."
Rogar unraveled himself and floated over closer to the Sentinel, out of the shadows.
"I need you out of the way. The best way to do that was to get rid of your time machine. Done."
The Sentinel looked around frantically before noticing the box was missing.
"Then your friends.
Rogar continued.
Work in progress."
Rogar gestured toward Vax and the Paradox Master.
"Then you can watch your planet burn after losing everything else. Then I kill you."
Rogar extended his claw under the Sentinel's chin, drawing his face upwards.
"It's the least I could do for Iliosiferium and its people."
"You can kill me, fine, but you don't touch her." Rogar leaned back, smiling. He turned to Vax.
"She'll burn then."
He opened his mouth to reveal a faint purple glow in the back of his throat. "No!" The Sentinel pulled forward, the shackles digging into his palms. The anchors on the wall strained the wall, cracking it. The flames billowed out from Rogar's mouth, covering Vax entirely. The flames spread, and the Sentinel could sense the burning heat emanating from them. The Paradox Master snapped awake. The plasma dissipated, and thick smoke covered where Vax once was. Rogar let out a deep laugh that shook the ground beneath.
"And you thought you could destroy my home without consequences? All that I worked to protect. All that I sacrificed to become the hated protector of."
The Sentinel felt his chains give way, and he ran toward the spot where Vax was. Once he reached the smoke, a shockwave sent him falling to the ground. Looking up, he saw a dark silhouette lift into the air through the smoke. 2 purple lights glowed from the figure. Wait a second, the Sentinel whispered. Not a moment later, a second shockwave of energy blasted through the room, pushing the smoke away. The Sentinel and the Paradox Master were both pushed back to the wall. Rogar looked up at where the smoke once was, and he immediately breathed out all of the plasma he could at what he saw, with a look of fear in his eye. The Sentinel looked up to see a person at the edge of the flames, parting them directly down the center. It looked exactly like he did when he first encountered Rogar. Yes! The Paradox Master laughed, looking at the Sentinel. You seeing this? This is great! Sure, the Sentinel flared his fist too. Questions would have to wait. Vax lifted her arms, forming a wall of plasma between them. The Paradox Master walked up and leaned against a wall near the anchors. Well, it looks like you guys got this covered, the Paradox Master began, so I'm just... Rogar roared, exploding the wall of flames, sending Vax, the Sentinel, and the Paradox Master through the walls of the dark room. The 3 of them rolled through the dirt before coming to a stop. The Sentinel lifted himself as best he could. He sifted his fingers through the coarse orange dirt and looked up, shielding his eyes with his hand. The sky was green. He looked across the flat horizon, noticing a few fluorescent blue plants scattered across the landscape. He turned around to face Rogar, who was making his way to the group. Impossible. The Sentinel coughed up through the dust.
Surprised to see the sands of Iliospherium again, are you?
Rogar asked. I destroyed this planet. That was my revenge. You killed my daughter, and now you claim to seek revenge? For what? Your planet stands. Rogar whipped his tail, knocking over the Sentinel, pushing his face into the dirt. Rogar leaned down to the Sentinel, pulling his face upwards on a claw.
You could never understand the power I have on my side. It's my destiny. I will always win. Always. I have to. The universe dictates it so. It hands me a planet in return for what you have taken from me. Fate is on my side. Give up.
The Sentinel spit on Rogar's scaly face. I can't. As the Sentinel spoke, a purple shard went through Rogar's arm. Rogar turned around to see the Paradox Master standing, holding his arm, as Vax tried to get up. A flash of light burst behind the Paradox Master. Am I too late? The first Sentinel asked. 1? The Sentinel stared.
You!
Rogar hissed. He whipped his tail. 1 caught it. I need some backup. They should be here, the Paradox Master said. The Sentinel's second and previous incarnation appeared grabbing Rogar's tail as 1 let go and tackled Rogar. You're kidding me, the Sentinel whispered to himself. 2! Man, I really need nicknames for you guys, 1 laughed, greeting the second incarnation of the Sentinel. Rogar sneered.
Why are there so many of you? Who thought it was smart to give time travel to humans?
Rogar swung his head to bite at the first Sentinel. 1 held out his arms, surrounding his hands in solid plasma to hold Rogar's mouth open. You might as well give up now, Rogar, the second Sentinel yelled. I've beaten you before, by myself. You can't win against all 5 of us, he said, gesturing to himself, the first and third Sentinel, the Paradox Master, and Vax. No! A voice sounded behind a flash of light and an explosion. A mop of blonde hair and a duster rolled by. He paused, dazed, and counting the group. 6 of us. Oh, now you've done it, 1 said. You've gone and brought in AJ. Rogar snapped, pulling his tail from their grasp and flying away. He blasted the air with his flames. Hundreds of Gars and Terrors appeared from behind the building they were once in. That can't be good, AJ said, still dizzy from his rapid teleportation. He dusted himself of Mars dirt and flames. Vax, you should go, the Sentinel said. Leave the fight to us. Sentinel, I don't know what the hell is happening, but I'm gonna help. Vax smiled through her pain, laughing. Because I can now. For some reason. The Sentinel hesitated, weighing the risk. He glared at the Paradox Master. Keep her safe. The Paradox Master nodded. The 6 of them lined up, prepared to fight. Before anyone could make the first move, AJ sent out a beam of plasma directly at Rogar in an attempt to stun him. Can everyone use plasma? The Sentinel asked. I don't really think now is the time to complain, AJ yelled back to him. Rogar roared towards the sky, sending out bursts of plasma, even burning his own allies. Rogar pulled out the Sentinel's box and slammed it on the floor, attempting to activate the shield. He only forced the box into the ground, breaking it to pieces. No! The Sentinel ran forward. The Paradox Master flew up behind him, sporting a pair of bright plasma wings, and grabbed the Sentinel, flying him up to Rogar's head. Once they were close enough, the Paradox Master let go, and the Sentinel sent a giant flaming fist towards Rogar, knocking him to the ground. Terrors surrounded them. AJ held his hand to the ground and sent out a blast of purple lightning, redirecting it to as many terrors as he could. 1 sent out a wave of plasma at the terrors in the sky. Vax and 2 ducked underneath it. As the wave hit all the terrors, they exploded. The Sentinel laughed, pinning Rogar down on the ground while all the rest of them were taking care of the Gars, who were about to attack. "Give up," the Sentinel said to him. "Whatever destiny you think you have, I do not care. Leave me alone. I don't want to be a part of it." Rogar smiled. He clutched his claws around a sphere in his hand and created a portal underneath him, falling through it as it closed. The Sentinel fell to the ground where Rogar once was. He turned to face the battle. He watched as Vax and his past self, too, fought terrors together. Searching through his memories, the Sentinel couldn't recall ever having done this before. He watched as Gars died left and right. "3, watch out!" one yelled toward the Sentinel. It took him a while to process that one was referring to him. "Sentinel!" Vax yelled. The Sentinel turned around, and a wall of the massive building behind him was falling. And his vision went dark.